It's the knowledge of Hinengaro and Wairua and the extremely important role that Hinengaro and Wairua play in your wellness. If your mind is not settled because of whatever fear you may have in your mind about what you're going through, then every organ in your body is out of kilter, totally out of kilter.
A conversation across cultures and into a depth of knowledge and care into cultures. You want to pick one? Dame Rangimarie Naida Glavish, you are expert in both. Kia ora, nau mai, welcome.
Kia ora, tēnā koe.
I don't want to get sick. I want to live in order. I want to be well my entire life. If I'm a good boy, can we do that?
Well, it's entirely up to you, of course.
Is it?
And entirely up to you and the lifestyle and the environment you choose to live in, whether or not you're going to be ora for your entire life. But whether you are ora to your entire life or not, it will end in tūpapaku. So there's a process that one goes through in one's lifestyle, whether we are physically and mentally well and fit, depends entirely on ourselves.
Entirely me? But things happen I don't have control of.
Well, the intent is that we are born from the sacred wombs of our mothers absolutely ora. And O is the higher realms and Ra is the sun. And so to be well is to be totally encompassed by the higher realms, which is our Hinengaro Wairua, our soul, and the healing rays of the sun. That is a description of ora and being well. Our environment is our living style, is what either keeps us well or leads us to ma wiwi. And ma is pure, which is linked to ora. And wiwi is we have been infected. Our ma has been infected.
My pure, healthy self and my pure essence has been.
Yes, your pure essence has been infected by something that makes your ora unwell. So that could be a simple thing of catching the flu. You go from ora to unwell, mawiwi. And it's a simple process, if that's all that's wrong, of going back from mawiwi to ora.
So order is always my goal. That's the state.
Ora is the goal, absolutely, to remain ora. And ora physically, spiritually, and psychologically is ora. Anything that infects any part of that leads to mawiwi.
So if we're talking, you give an example about flu, if I was going to talk around Hinengaro, or the psychology, the emotion, the mood, anxiety, could be an infection. Anger, would that be?
Anxiety, anger, all of that can quite easily lead to mawiri. Fear can also lead
There's my one.
to mawiri. And it will hold you in a mawiri state until such time you're able to deal with the cause of that mawiri. And in that, it's important to understand oneself and where one is at with its own wellness, with one's own wellness. Because if it's a simple thing like the flu, or if it's something more serious than just the flu, it will lead one to the next level of unwellness, which in actual fact is ora, mawiri. The next level is tūroro. And tūroro is the palliative area of care required for your condition, whatever that condition might be.
Now, palliative means I'm not going to get better. Is that right? Is that what?
Palliative means is that we need to give extra special attention to the cause of that unwellness, and in that extra special attention as to whether we can bring you back from tūroro to mawiri to ora. And so that requires specialist care. And part of that specialist care could simply mean a visit by someone you love. Then your eyes will kick in and become a healer. Your ears will hear the voice, and that will become a healer. And then the voice itself becomes a healer. The biological presence of that person becomes a healer. And then the specialist doctors and nurses will kick in as well to the internal organs that may have led to the tūroro. And the discussion then happens as to whether or not tūroro can come from that extreme unwellness to mawiri, which can be cured to take us back to ora. An example of tūroro is a true story of a 43-year-old Māori man who needed a lung transplant. He was at Green Lane Hospital, and he went through the process, and medically and clinically the transplant was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Came day for him to discharge, he refused to leave. The psychiatrist tried to understand why he refused to leave.
Did he have whānau with him? Did he have anyone around?
He had his wife with him in full support of him. The psychiatrist came to see me. I agreed to go and speak to him and his wife. And it was a simple question. What's the matter with you?
That's not a very good bedside manner, Naida, really.
That's me. And what's the matter with you? And he said to me, I don't know. I said, well, medically and clinically, the transplant was a success. You should be going home now. So what's the matter? And he says, well, I don't know. But what I do know is that I would have died with my old lungs, but I cannot live with these new ones. And so I asked him, so before you went into theatre, Did you have karakia? Did you give thanks in karakia to your mother and your father for the life that you lived with those old lungs from birth to now? And before you went into theatre, did you go in with karakia prepared to let them go? And he goes, no. And I said, and so when you came out of theatre with your new lungs, you know our protocols. You know that when manuhiri come onto our marae, we will karanga them, we will mihi them, we will karakia them, we will then hariru and meet with them, then we will take them and offer them a meal. Then they are no longer manuhiri, they are a part of us.
You will call to them.
Yes.
Right? You will then pray with them.
Yep.
You will then, the hariru is the hongi and the handshake.
The exchange.
With them.
Yep.
Then you feed them.
Yep. And then they lose the manuhiri status.
This is a pair of lungs, Naida.
Yes, I know. So when that lung, when you came out of your operation with your new lungs, did you karanga those new lungs in karakia? And did you introduce those new lungs to every other organ in your body and inform the other organs, hey, there's a manuhiri, and this manuhiri have come to save our lives. Welcome this manuhiri. Make this manuhiri at home and be one with us. Did you do that? And he goes, no. So I said to him, well, would you like to do that? And his wife said yes. And so with that, I arranged with the staff, the medical staff at Green Lane Hospital, that we will go to histology. We will retrieve...
What's histology?
Histology is where they keep where the old lung would be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we would go to histology and we would get that old lung out and we will give karakia and give thanks for his mum and dad and that old lung so we can set it free.
We is you, this patient who'd refused to leave.
And his wife. Yep.
Okay, so you physically bring these lungs
out. Yep. The lungs that have been removed from his body.
Okay.
And so we began karakia and he sobbed.
Did he?
He sobbed. During the karakia, he sobbed. He sobbed for the life he lived. He sobbed for his mum and his dad. He sobbed for all that life so that he could arrive at the point where he could set it free. And then we began the karakia of welcoming from the point of origin of the new lung. And then we began in karakia introducing the new lung to every organ in his body, organ by organ by organ. And when we had completed that process and he felt, according to his words, his wife was crying by this time as well, he felt whole. He felt whole again and was discharged that afternoon.
When he said he felt whole, did that seem to you to be a tangible thing? Did you see a shift? You've spoken to me about Hinengaro and about Wairua and these things that we must see and know with other than our eyes. Did you see
I saw an absolute change in his aura. his Hinengaro Wairua was absolutely aligned. And I saw a man and his wife as well actually go from tūroro, which could have led to tūpapaku, from tūroro immediately straight back to ora.
Skipped mawiwi.
Skipped the mawiwi and went straight back to ora. And so ora, he discharged that afternoon. The psychiatrist couldn't believe it. Well, that was his problem. I know that this person and his wife, and I know that he's living a fruitful life because he sends me, and his wife send me a Christmas card every Christmas.
May I ask a couple of questions, or did you want to conclude from
No,
that? Okay. First one. Did you have a tikanga, a protocol, a karakia ready for that? Or did you create in the moment with him? Was this something that
No, I didn't. I wasn't expecting the visit from the psychiatrist at all. He just walked into my office and said, "Hey, I got this fellow over there.
and I'm stuck.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with him. He's supposed to be going to discharge, but he refuses to go." And at that time, of course, at Green Lane was Hardy Towers, was where the transplants stayed. And, no, I didn't know.
Okay. So you addressed and created your tikanga, your protocols in the moment. It was an act of creativity.
Well, it was an act of creativity based on an upbringing in the knowledge of protocols, in the knowledge of the things that we do naturally on a marae. While I was speaking to him, you know that we karanga manuhiri, and he's nodding. You know that we karakia them, and he's nodding. So all the way through the discussion, he totally agreed, but hadn't given that connection to his transplant at all. And I don't think he's the only one. It's the knowledge of Hinengaro and Wairua and the extremely important role that Hinengaro and Wairua play in your wellness. If your mind is not settled because of whatever fear you may have in your mind about what you're going through, then every organ in your body is out of kilter, totally out of kilter.
When you talk about mind, and it took me a long time, I've lived with brain injury for a long time, and I had to learn the brain is not the mind. They're different.
Absolutely different.
You look at me like I've just said something really obvious. Okay.
The Hinengaro Wairua combined is the mind. And they make a decision. The Hinengaro Wairua, your thoughts will make a decision and instruct your brain to instruct the biological body to act out what that thought was.
Hinengaro have got emotions, psychology, mood, right? Some attributes.
Intuition.
Yes. Thank you. Wairua though? Because I hear that there's the Wairua of Amonga. There's a Wairua of, we're close to the Waitemata harbour at the moment.
So Wairua is in actual fact the soul that entered. So Wairua is your soul energy in connection to your Hinengaro energy, and both combined where the thoughts, the emotions and all of that reside in your body actually instructs the biological.
And is that the tinana?
That's your tinana.
The biological, physical self.
So if you're angry about something.
Oh, I am.
You're angry about something and your Hinengaro Wairua in thought pattern think, look, I just can't let that dude get away with this. I simply must do something about it. And what I will do about it is I'm going to knock on his door. And so you instruct your biological, get in the car, we're off. I've got a door to knock on. And that's what happens.
Last question from this particular line. Tūroro. You have translated order.
Yes.
Right, from the realms, the higher realms, the sun, right? Mauiwi, Ma, the pure, and Ma's also white, right? There's no?
Yes, it is, but it's like a white cloud, not a white person. So get that right.
We should have been filming this for the look he just gave me. Okay, so Ma, pure, and that's quite distinct from the colonising influences who are manifested and whom I represent, Kia ora whaia. Ma, and then there's Wiwi, which is the infection, Uiwi.
Uiwi, UI, yeah. And so that's the infection, imperfection that's having a negative impact on the ma.
Got it. So is it useful to then break down tūroro for me?
So tūroro, tū is to stand, roro is your brains.
Yes, because roro hiko was a translation I was given for computer a while ago.
Yep, it is.
So tūroro, my brain is standing?
Your brain is in an upright position, which means it's active. Tūroro. And in that position of tūroro, there's mawiwi entering into it because you've just come from ora to mawiwi. That mawiwi has now entered into the brain activity, tūroro, which has created the translation into palliative.
Okay, got it.
Which is, of course, an area that requires high skill to bring back to mawiwi, then ora, or if it is unable to bring it back, then it will move from tūroro to tūpapaku. And tū again is to stand, papaku in a flattened position.
And that is what I would call the corpse.
Yes, and it is. It is. The organs and the biological is no longer able to host the Wairua Hinengaro. And so the Wairua Hinengaro with karakia departs, but it takes some convincing for the departure to happen.
Wairua Hinengaro, soul, spirit, the person.
Yes. The host is closed down.
The body is closed.
Yeah,
Tinana is
closed down. It's dead.
So now we're in tangihanga process, are we?
We are in tangihanga process the moment the brain stops and the heart stops. We are in tangihanga process. But Wairua hasn't necessarily accepted that the host body has closed down. Hence the karakia to set that Wairua free. However, attachment, Wairua may decide not to. Hence, at the tangihanga process, if 100, 200 people come to the tangi and speak to the Wairua of the tūpapaku, that is a direction in that speech, giving the Wairua the road map home. And 100 people will give it. 200 will give it the same road map home. And in that road map, the hope is that Wairua will hear it. And in that, the day of the funeral, there'll be a karakia with that road map. And we get to the cemetery, burial with that karakia, our karakia, and the road map. But to ensure that Wairua didn't snuck off back to the marae, we get back there and karakia again. And then to ensure that Wairua didn't snuck off back to
Back home?
back home.
The whare or something? Yeah.
There's a takahi o te whare. There is a karakia again to ensure and give that roadmap. So everywhere the Wairua Hinengaro the soul may connect itself, the responsibility of the whānau of the tūpapaku is to support the Wairua of that tūpapaku to go home. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like putting wrong way signs
Yes.
at each stage. Yeah, wrong way now.
And it's going that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last few moments.
Okay.
Thank you for being so generous with this whakaaro, these insights that you have. And I know you don't like to be accused of having too much wisdom, Naida, but you share it, right? Because that's your duty, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to, in a moment, just ask what the closing and concluding thoughts would be. Can my body be well and my Hinengaro Wairua be unwell, and the other way round? Can my body be really unwell, but my Hinengaro and my Wairua be vibrant and thriving and full order?
And of course, the short answer to that is yes. Your body can be unwell, but your mind thriving, or vice versa. Your mind could be unwell and your body is thriving. My father was 101 when he died, and he did say, if ever my mind gives up on my body, I'm ready to go. It's because, that would apply to anybody really, but that's what he said. That's what my grandmother said. And the thing about that is the control of your mind. If that leaves you, then your whole spiritual, psychological, physical is dependent on somebody else. And that somebody else may consider that, or may not, a burden. And so it's something no one wants to be, is a burden to anyone. So in yesteryear, as a child, as a girl, young mother growing up, I did hear our old people talking about the mind dimension and the things that were available in terms of ngā mate kite, the seers. And the seers were very present as I was growing up. And they could see where the problem was, either of the mind or the body, and where the solution was. And that is difficult to find today, that the seers. And so I guess it's entirely up to oneself to be mindful of one's mind, body, and soul are intact as best it can be.
And that gives us the chance of order.
That gives us the opportunity to step right into order, where we all want to be. Absolutely.
And one of the great gifts of coming from England to Aotearoa were some of these insights encapsulated in one through which you achieved some early notoriety, which is that most famous of Māori greetings. Kia ora, have well-being. It's the most generous, isn't it?
Kia ora is
Kia ora.
Definitely may there be well-being to you. It's wishing wellness, kia ora. on you, on whomever one focuses that saying on. One of the sayings that my grandmother Māori left to me, ina kite koe te tahi mea he, hakatikangia. Ina kore, ka rite koe ki taua he. If you see something wrong in front of you, you must correct it. Because if you do not, then you will become like it. And I lived my life with that in my ears the whole time through. And whenever I'm faced with any decisions, that I am to focus on the outcome that brings benefits to all and not make it about me. And so her saying also was, nui ake tēnei take ia koe, over the kia ora issue. And this is far greater than just you.
Naida,
Yes.
and to you who's listening, kia ora whaia.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.